I had said, Huzur is saying that we have such references from which it is proven that the dates, etc., that the Bible has written, it has relied to a great extent upon Josephus. They're saying that it's people read it as Josephus, but it's actually pronounced as Josephus. So it has relied on Josephus, who has relied on Manetho, sorry, they're saying, who has made up a lot of stories. So this connection in between this, Huzur is saying that I will present it to you, and afterwards I remembered it, and I will bring it. I have brought it to present before you because it's a promise that has to be kept. About this, there is one reference which Josephus Flavius, a Jewish historian, has a mention in Peake's commentary as having derived his information from the writings of Manetho, which Josephus has preserved. And other commentators also add to this. New Jerome's commentary by R.E. Brown and other commentators as well are agreed upon this, that the works of Josephus are extensively used by the authors of the Bible and provides indispensable material for the student of the Bible. So Bible has benefited greatly from Josephus, and this is and the authors accept that it's not God, it's someone else, because Allah did not get any benefit from Josephus. So obviously it is a acceptance that our Bible mentions many things which are gathered together by people, and in this regard we're saying that this is a very clear reference that in the history of the Old Testament by Dr. P. Hemish, he writes that for the history of the Old Testament, one of the sources is the history's cast of Egypt from the beginning down to Alexander the Great by an Egyptian priest called Manetho, who was in the 3rd century BC. So this acceptance is present, and people can read it. Who's saying is if the author of the Bible were men, just as these researchers accept, and they have gathered together all these things, and when the Bible says repeatedly that this has guidance and light, and it still has things, and the Bible still has things that you can gain benefit from, then is there any contradiction in this? The fact of the matter is that the Holy Prophet ﷺ's traditions are actually similar to the what's written in the Bible. From one aspect, there are many reports in the Bible which allege things towards Allah, and when this is mentioned in tradition, is called Hadith Qudsi. So it's not these are human reports, so all the commentators give it a secondary status, but in all the traditions the highest status is that of the tradition called Hadith Qudsi. So different companions have reported something which was said to the Holy Prophet ﷺ, and the Holy Prophet ﷺ then takes it to God, and he says that God told me this. So those the importance of Hadith Qudsi, they are the ones which are similar to some of the reports in the Bible, and all of those verses of the Holy Quran which contain a particular command of Allah, that is what has guidance and enlightenment and light, and those parts of the Bible which are saved in the Bible, which shed light on the noble character of prophets, they have saved to an extent, but sometimes they are damaged as well. So where they praise Allah, there was no need for a false man to say anything good about God. It's not of any interest to a liar, except someone makes a claim and says that he loves God, then who's saying that there is a difference between someone who is pretending to love God and someone who really loves God, and that's you can see that in the Bible, that the hymns etc. are true. Most of them are true. As far as the prophecies are concerned, if they are true, then Allah protects them. If He didn't protect them, then they would be completely untrustworthy. Therefore, until the Holy Quran did not apply the prophecies of the Bible to the Holy Prophet ﷺ, they had to be kept protected by Allah. And when the claim was made that they applied to the Holy Prophet ﷺ or to Islam, then they started to make changes in them. So the prophecies are changed, but only when they become fulfilled, and then for the sake of some lesser objectives, people try to turn them. So there is light and guidance in the Bible, and as far as the basic teachings are concerned, often those teachings are saved, but only to the extent to where the coming book would agree with it. So from this point of view, when it says about the Messiah, the Musaddiq lima bayna yadayhi min at-Tawrat, then this many translations think that this means that the Torah that was before this, that is being mentioned, that he agreed with that. Or when it says about the Holy Prophet Musaddiq lima bayna yadayhi min at-Tawrat, that he proves the truth of whatever is with them about the Torah. Huzur is saying that find out other stuff, other verses like of a similar nature. Huzur is saying, I've noticed that many translations that people think it means that the matters that were already contained in the Bible, that the Holy Prophet ﷺ agreed with that, or proves the truth of those. This creates difficulties, and these are the translations on which people then object. That on the one hand you are saying that whatever is in the Bible, the Holy Prophet ﷺ says that I prove their truth, and on the other hand he denies some of their claims that there is no truth in these things, and they are made up by man. So then what is the real meaning of bayna yadayhi, which means that in front of someone? So it means that whatever is in front of me, that teaching which Allah had which Allah proved true, which is in front of me, which revelation has proved it to be true, and that is what I prove to be true, or I declare to be true. So he was saying that minat Torah or minat Kutub, whatever it says, Musaddiqan lima bayna yadayhi or Musaddiqan lima bayna yadayhi, these verses in the Holy Quran, then what they would mean would this, that those portions of the Bible that Allah has informed me that are true, which which are going to be under my discussion, which I shall present as references from the Bible, I declare that they are true because they are from Allah. But the additions made by man in the Bible, it does not include it doesn't mean that those things I agree with those, and I think that they are true. Huzur is saying that this is important to mention this because many times in Europe we have to confront this, and they for example Jehovah's Witnesses etc., when we talk to them, they often bring these things up. So you should make sure you understand that only those things were the truth of those things has been shown by the Holy Prophet ﷺ, which God told him. Huzur is saying the Messiah also used to prove the truth in the same manner, and Jesus used to deny many things, and he wouldn't accept the translations that the Jews of the time used to make of certain verses. He did not regard them as being literal, such as the going to heaven of Elijah and him coming down bodily. So then the same objection could be raised against Islam as well. The Quran, in order to save the Quran from this, is saying there are many aims, but one of the aims is that the subject about Jesus has been described in the same way that he would also prove the truth of whatever was before him, but that justification was not over the whole Bible. He did not declare the entire Bible to be true, that is Jesus. He only declared the truth of some of the parts of the Bible. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألف لام ميم الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم نزل عليك الكتاب بالحق مصدقا لما بين يديه وأنزل التوراة والإنجيل. Huzur is saying here the Baina Yadahi is not, the meaning of this is not clear. There's another verse which is much clearer, which makes it very easy to understand. In this verse it says وَالَّذِينَ أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْكَ مِنَ الْكِتَابِ هُوَ الْحَقُّ مُصَدِّقًا لِمَا بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ. It is the revelation that is Yadahi, Baina Yadahi, which is true. Huzur is saying that this doesn't speak about it in detail. I'm looking for the verse which speaks of the Holy Prophet ﷺ being the one who proves the truth of something. Huzur is saying this is about the revelation, the verse that I was searching for, which is about Jesus. I wanted to use about Jesus is a different one. Here it says about the book. Who's reading the Arabic? Huzur is saying that now here the book is mentioned. So the book proves the truth of that which is before it. So Baina Yaday, for it to mean what was in the past, is against the normal usage of the word. If there is a possibility, then it's only a far off possibility in every place. Ma khalfahu wa baina yadayhi. This is very clear, used very clearly in the Holy Quran. So له موقبات من بين يديه ومن خلفه يحفظونه من أمر الله. That everyone who walks during the day, the night, or the day, in the night, whether he walks concealed or in a clear way, or seen by people. Huzur is saying that if Baina Yaday means behind him, then what would min khalfihi then mean? So Baina Yaday, it is used extensively. It means in front, not behind. So in this regard, in everywhere, the translation is what was in the past. The reason why people say it means what was in the past, because they think it meant that whatever was in the Bible from before, and wherever you make this translation, then you have the danger of saying that the Bible, which is in 2 volumes, that is the entire Bible is being proved to be true, whereas Baina Yaday means the book that is in front of it, that is the revelation that is there, which has clearly explained those things which are only those bits that are mentioned that are similar to the Bible, they are the ones that are being proved to be true. The rest of it is not being proven to be true. So saying there's no exception in this anywhere, that wherever the Bible has accepted something that's in the Bible and it has explained it, then that is most certainly gets proven to be true. Where the Holy Quran has accepted something that the Holy Quran, the Bible has said about the universe, etc., that it becomes true, and that which is left is not bani yadayhi, and most of them appear to be wrong. So those that the Holy Quran disagrees with, they are definitely wrong. But the ones that the Quran does not mention at all, those are usually have no reason and nothing to do with the main crux of the matter. So either Allah leaves something completely or Allah disagrees with it. So both of those things in the Bible are not correct. So another very fine point in this is that sometimes when something is musaddiq, they hide it. That means when the Holy Quran says that it's clear and Allah presents it, then the Christians would hide that thing, and the Jews as well, that this is not even there. Then you have to search that out, that the ones that the Holy Quran is mentioning, it is most certainly in the Torah or in the Gospels. So they're saying this is something which I wish to make you understand. There is another very interesting question. When the discussion of qaza occurred, etc., then I had said that this translation was wrong, because I thought iqsa was a separate word and fihi was a separate word, but the translation in itself was not incorrect, because it was the same translation that put him in the ark and then put him in the sea. But the person who asked the question has asked a very intelligent question, and I think that I should have mentioned this by myself in detail. The questioner asked me that you accepted that there was a mistake in the translation, which is a very good thing, and this is a sign of taqwa, of righteousness. But what about the commentary? What effect will it have on that? Otherwise, we will have a circle of doubt. We will not be able to say with certainty that with the changing of the translation, will the commentary change as well, or will the commentary be proven to be more correct? So this was the kind of question that was asked of me, and I said that this is a very good question, and I shall answer it in the dars. Now Huzur is saying its response in this dars has to do with this matter, that in the words iqsa fihi, iqsa to be regarded as a separate verb, and fihi, Huzur is discussing the Arabic grammar, that Huzur is saying that this could be possible in regard to Arabic language, but at this occasion it's wrong to think that, because it should have been iqzi rather than iqzi, because a woman is being addressed, that is Moses' mother. So if you make a feminine gender, then it should be iqzifi. So iqzifi was one word, and he is a separate word. That means who should be put in the ark? We put him in the ark, that is Moses. So there was no question that any reason to be found for this. This is completely wrong to translate it as fihe being separate and iqsa being separate. The next part is interesting. Huzur is saying, when you research a mistake, then it has a lot of benefits, a lot of things, a lot of other matters come out of it. Huzur is saying, first of all, why did I think of this? Is because there was a repetition in there, in this, that as if somebody says something and then stops and then starts again and then stops again, and this repetition has got such a strong relation with Moses, and is very beautiful. And whenever I have thought about this verse, I have managed to not notice the ikzifihe and the who was saying that I thought that it's just being repeated, that put him in here and put him in there, and this was the style of Moses. But despite saying that, Allah, it protects it. This is also a separate subject, a separate aspect, because from the Holy Quran, Allah gives you a particular. Allah shows Himself as someone, and Allah has a certain attributes and certain sign, a certain way of a certain manner. So Huzur is saying that it is wrong to think that Allah said it, because Moses stammered as well. So I said that this is wrong. It is not the dignity of Allah to stammer. If you Huzur is saying that I thought that this could be what I thought the reason could be. That's what I explained, that perhaps Moses' mother, the idea was to tell her slowly, so that she wouldn't be shocked by what Allah was telling her to do with her son. And as far as the first part of the commentary is concerned, I did not change the translation, Huzur said. I changed the style of the translation, and Huzur is saying that because of the sound, the sound effects that are made from these words, I told people to find. Told people in Rabwa to investigate on this, to see if there's any other examples like this. So I got a very interesting response. They translated each word, and they found that the sound effect here in this verse was so strong that he was this was a great grammarian, and he also flowed in this sound effect, that he made ikse separate and fihe separate. But it is important to mention that about Moses, the belief is that if we say iqze, then the sound effect of this verse still remains, so it doesn't have any effect on the commentary. Allah's style is that Allah speaks in a particular way, which gives you the impression that Allah is repeating something. And because I had this repetition in my mind, and I thought that Moses had a deep relationship with repetition, so Huzur is saying that this idea was proven to be true. Huzur is saying that the drowning happened twice, and both times he was saved. Once when he was a child and he nearly drowned, he should have drowned, and he was saved. And the second, when he may have been drowned during the Exodus. And so the people who were trying to drown him, that he could have drowned those people, the people because of whom he could have been drowned, they got drowned. Huzur is saying then Moses punched someone, and then he was about to punch another person another day when Allah saves him. So again there is a repetition. And then another repetition is that Moses alayhi salam, he was helped twice by Pharaoh's family, and both times his life was saved. Once there was a man who was from the Pharaoh's family. He came running from the city, and he said that there are talks of your being killed. You should run away from here. And the second time, there is the Quran intentionally mentions that when Moses returned and he clashed with Pharaoh, then they were talking about killing him. So again, the discussions took place twice. And who was helping him? A person from Pharaoh's family. He tells them that, look, use your intelligence. If he's false, then his falsehood will fall on him. But if it's proven to be true, then you are the ones who will be destroyed. Therefore, forget about killing him. And because he wasn't killed, this proves that it was the same member of Pharaoh's family who became his helper. So again, there is a strange repetition. It's not a coincidence. And then the migration in his life is also twice. So we're saying that most prophets migrate once, but you don't normally see migration twice. Huzur is saying that there are exceptions, obviously, but in Moses' life, it's seen very clearly. There's once he migrated individually, and then he migrated with his people. So Huzur is saying that because this, I used to enjoy this repetition that Allah had used about Moses, and because of this these sound effects were similar. This is why I thought about that. Huzur is saying, as far as the commentary is concerned, there is no negative effect on that. And as far as Allah's treatment of His beloved people, how He treats them, how He speaks speaks like them, Allah. This commentary is not affected. The Prophet Islam's words are the final word in this. He says the general principle governing the descent of the word, God's word, is that the amount of the power of purification and internal greatness of a person dictates the power and the greatness of the word of Allah that is revealed to him. Because the power of purification and internal greatness of the Holy Prophet ﷺ was of the highest quality possible, no man had ever or would ever have a greater power. Therefore, the Holy Quran became the word of God, which was much more exalted and glorious than any other divine book revealed before it, and no other word of God ever attained that status. So the word of God, the one upon whom it's being revealed, it has a relationship with his feelings and his status. And by understanding this, sometimes some mistakes that you see in some words, it also becomes clear. I've shed light on this before as well. Some people are completely they do not know Arabic, and yet they have an Arabic revelation, but people know that they are truthful people. But Allah knows Arabic, and He is the one who created the Holy Quran. Huzur is saying that I don't want to take up the issue of whether the Quran is a creation or not, but the Holy Quran says, Ar-Rahman allama al-Quran, that Huzur is asking if those are the words. Ar-Rahman allamahul bayan is afterwards. Khalaq al-insan Ar-Rahman allama al-Quran. Huzur saying, take it out so we can check. Khalaq al-insan allamahul bayan. Huzur saying, this is what I remember, but you should check. Huzur is saying that it has been proved that there are mistakes can happen. This is exactly what we are discussing at the moment. Ar-Rahmanu allama al-Quran. The one who teaches the Holy Quran is the gracious God. But despite that, the ones to whom He talks, they don't have the same status. The reason is, Huzur is saying that I presented this from another point of view, which Huzur is saying that I also regard it as being correct. The Prophet Islam's words presents this in a different manner. I had said that according to me, inside every man there is a reception set just as a radio hears the news, and no matter how the radio station is, no matter how powerful it is, if the radio set is bad and it's weak, then that's how the sound will be. And sometimes even if there is a weak radio station, if the radio set is good, it catches the sound really well and clearly. So if one does not have a receiving set like that, then there is no proof that they received revelation, because they can't hear. The sound is not coming from outside, it is being created from inside. If it was a sound coming from outside, then every revelation would be heard by everyone. This is the subject which I have described numerously. He's already saying that the Holy Prophet ﷺ, with reference, the Prophet ﷺ, with reference to the Holy Prophet ﷺ, has said that his internal set or receiving set of receiving the revelation, his power of purification made it, took it to a new extent. This was not his internal power of purification. His purity was dictated, created a light which purified his. Purified it, and the revelation that came descended on him, it was that light shone on it and it became something totally different. So Huzur is saying that this is there's a difference. Therefore all the commentators make a note of this, and this is why this verse of the Holy Quran is also quoted, the Kallamallahu Musa taklima, and Allah has not said this about any other prophet, that Allah talked to him a lot. It means that he used to ask small questions and Allah kept on responding, and Allah says, come back, you don't go. And Allah talks to him in a way which is not seen in any other prophet, which means that Allah has kept in view his receiving, the one who is receiving. So, Moses had a very simple manner, and Allah enjoyed that, and Allah talked to him in a similar manner. If somebody says that it's wrong to say that Allah enjoyed, Huzur is saying that I have already said that it is proven from the Holy Prophet ﷺ that Allah enjoys things, such as is proven from this tradition that when the host was making eating sounds in order to make the guest think that they were eating, so that he could comfortably eat, then it says in the tradition that Allah was also enjoying in the hereafter. Huzur is saying that there is some discrepancy in the translation, but Allah was enjoying those eating sounds that they were making. So Allah's enjoyment is a very fine thing, so exquisite thing, but we cannot understand it completely. But what we can say is that Allah sometimes adopts the character of a person whom he is addressing, and this was explained by the Holy Prophet ﷺ when he said, this is also a hadith Qudsi, Ana inna zanna abdi bi. Allah is saying that man cannot understand me. How can he attain me, and what can he think of me? There is only one way, that I transform myself, mold myself into the way the person is expecting me to be. So if there is a difference in the way Allah spoke to the Holy Prophet ﷺ, and this is to Moses, then it shows the character of Allah, that he would talk to someone according to their own style. So it doesn't. But remember, that doesn't mean that Allah was saying to him that I speak to other people in their own way. There was a man who was taking out lice from his clothes, and while he was doing that, he was talking to God, and he said, "Oh my Allah, if I find you, if you come to me, then I will take out your lice." and I'll clean your clothes. I'll clean your clothes, and I'll take out the thorns from your feet, and I will give you fresh milk. And Moses heard this. He became very angry, and he forgot that Allah talks to me in the same similar way as well. And he said that, don't you dare speak like this about Allah. What do you think Allah is? Allah is like you. Allah is a poor man like you. And at this, Allah's revelation descended on him of annoyance. He said, Allah, oh Moses, who are you to interfere between me and my servant? I was enjoying this a lot and enjoying what this man was saying. So this subject, in view of this subject, the fihi was saying that I thought about this in the same way, that because Moses was told that his mother was, there was revelations given to his mother, so it was in the same words as Moses. So although so saying that the iqsifihi fil yam iqsifihi fil tabut, etc., that enjoyment will remain, and other things bear witness to this. And the whole thing is the relationship of Moses with Allah is seen there. So you should there is not in the slightest, so this is not wrong to think that Allah may have spoken in Moses' manner. And the other thing is what raises complications. I had said that Allah did not just merely do it for the sake of mimicking. Allah, that may have happened. But Allah could not have just said it just for this purpose of mimicking. I had said that because in order to console the heart of Moses' mother, that there is an incident that's about to occur, this is about to happen, and then it says that this will happen, and then this will happen. So this is also a way of breaking the news to someone. And in contradiction to this, the other meaning is which is formed from iksifi, and that caused me problems. And for a long time I had to investigate. Therefore, as I was saying today, I wish to make you all understand this after I have understood it myself. I was only saying that I had never considered about ikse. I thought that it means it means to put him in, and Huzur Singh, someone else agreed with me, but this was not the reason of this research was not because of the word of ikze. Afterwards I decided to find out what ikze was, and I wanted to see what kind of meaning there was, and these things came before me. That qazyun is that little splinter that falls into people's eyes. Usually people call it fail lazim. Qaza means, Huzur Singh, where is that discussion? So that a splinter falls into someone's eye, and the other meaning contained within is to be on the side, and then another is that a splinter laying on the surface of water should go to the end, to the bank, and then another is a splinter floating on the river to go to the bank of the river, is also the same word is used for it. And this again makes, I thought that this gives it it seemed to give the scenario that the child was like a splinter, like a small thing, but the river protects it and goes to the bank in protection. But this is wrong because it's not iqzi, it's iqze. Therefore, Huzur is saying that I wish to inform you that there is one aspect of this is a enjoyment and slowness, but the real meaning is iqzif. From iqzif you get this, and then iqzif, when I and I've investigated this caused me complicated problems. Iqze means to throw something, and to throw so hard that whatever it falls on, it clashes into pieces. And then there is also the negative aspect, that to insult someone and to make and to throw arrows at someone, or to make false allegations against someone, against women. All of these meanings had given commentators problems, and here the commentary has been affected. So now we must explain how the commentary should be. Commentators are anxious about this, and they try to seek refuge in the fact that the word qadhafa is used for keeping something, and they present those verses of the Holy Quran that agree with their opinion. Huzur saying, where are those verses? There are 5 verses, and they say that this shows you that qazafa, although there is a very harsh scenario that somebody threw a stone at something or someone, or they so hard that it was broken to bits, or to throw something, cast something off, or to throw arrows. But in some verses it is obvious it also means to put something in quietly and gently. This is Surah Al-Anbiya Al-Unni, verse 19. بَلْ نَقْصِفُ بِالْحَقِّ عَلَى الْبَاطِلِ. Here there is no question of putting of anything gentle. It says that Allah throws the truth at falsehood, and it breaks it. The next verse is we just read, Surah Sawa, verse 49, which means that, oh our Lord, my Lord, Yaksuf bil Haqqi, he hits with the truth, and the same meaning is found here again. But then Surah Sabah said, who is reading the Arabic, to say something from far away, or to throw something far, to cast something away, or to throw an arrow. وَقَدْ كَفَرُوا بِهِ مِنْ قَبْلِ. And before this they had rejected and denied. وَيَقْصِفُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ. And they are throwing arrows to think that they might reach the target, whereas there's no question of it ever hitting the target. مِن مَكَانٍ بَعِيدٍ. They're so far away that they are very far from the real truth. And then Allah says, لَا يَسَمَّعُونَ إِلَى مَلَئِ الْأَعْلَى وَيُقْذَفُونَ مِن كُلِّ جَانِبٍ. لَا يَسَمَّعُونَ إِلَى الْمَلَئِ الْأَعْلَى. What the Malay al-Ala are saying, these devils will not hear that. وَيُقْذَفُونَ مِن كُلِّ جَانِبٍ. They shall be thrown away, pushed away. And again, there is no softness here either. وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ وَاسِبٌ, I think Huzur said. So the qazafa, which means to save it, to keep it. Huzur is saying, if it's evident from some other verses, I don't have it in front of me right now, but the subject matter doesn't have to do with material things, then you could take it to mean qazafa in this sense. But when qazafa is used for a material thing, then it means to pick up something and to throw it away, or to cast something off and quickly throw it away. This is what is meant. So this was the problem. On one hand, I was saying that Allah was giving is consoling them. I deduced that from the word ikse. And then on the other side, Allah is saying to Moses' mother that throw the child in. What is the meaning of this? So of the commentators, Imam Razi has given this opinion, that because there is the to throw an arrow, and then it means that this child is something that goes far away. So the mother was being told that the child would go far from you, so it would be iqzif. So you should throw him away from yourself. But the problem is that yam, or about the word yam is used about the river Nile, etc. So saying that if the suitcase was in front of her, and so why would the baby be thrown into it so hard? It doesn't make any sense. After we consulted, Huzur is saying that the way I understood it, I'm quite happy with that answer. Sometimes a mistake serves to correct another mistake when we try to remove it. So this is the subject of the protection of Allah, that Allah protects the Holy Quran in all circumstances. But now Huzur is saying that I've understood this as far as the removal of the mother's fear was concerned. Then for that the verse of the Holy Quran is that don't worry, the water of the river will throw him out, he will not drown in the water. So this was a consolation given to her in words, yet the words were why were these particular words used? I think that Moses had an immediate danger, and the Pharaoh's people were coming to those homes where there was news of a newborn baby boy. Allah had told her that she should keep him for a while and give him milk and keep him with himself. So, and she would become very carefree. She thought that, okay, nothing's going to happen to this baby because Allah has told me. And at that time, then these news might have come out that such and such place there is a baby boy, and perhaps the soldiers of Pharaoh were searching, and they might have gone after him, and there was a sudden there was suddenness. So the mother was told that don't be slow. It was a time of panic. Let's quickly throw him and get him out of there. It must be immediate. It was an emergency situation, and there the word qazafa is used. Otherwise, at that time, that to say something harsh it doesn't make sense. But if you think of it like this, then it fits perfectly. And Allah is trying to say that you throw him, but Allah shall protect him. But do not take time. Just quickly do it and throw him, get him away from yourself. So this was the subject which also saying that how far it affects the commentary. I have explained this to you now. All the commentators are involved in the same discussion as to why there is qazafa and how should we fight it. Some people say that this is, and it means an insult or to make a false allegation. So why was it used at that time? So it's the same thing which was used about Imam Razi was not, and not only of that. It just means that just don't keep it. Just quickly throw him away. And as far as the end is concerned, as far as his the end result is concerned, Allah will protect him. So this small question that someone asked, is saying that I'm grateful to that person. It was a very important question, and I would not have answered this question if that question was. I would not have thought of this aspect had he not asked me that question. Now Huzur is saying that I'm going to return to the real subject. Huzur is asking if we have time. Huzur is saying that it seems to be the custom that the time is all gone when a casting of the debts of the past, and we cannot. The new stuff is left.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن في خلق السماوات والأرض واختلاف الليل والنهار لآيات لأولي الألباب الذين يذكرون الله قياما وقعودا وعلى جنوبهم ويتفكرون في خلق السماوات والأرض ربنا ما خلقت هذا باطلا سبحانك فقنا عذاب النار. Aale-Imraan ayat 192.
This is verse 192 of chapter 3 Aale-Imraan. Then the verse before this, Huzur is saying that I said that I would express that separately because the incident that I explained it presents this verse separately, whereas some references combine these two verses and present them, and it speaks of a time of night when the Holy Prophet ﷺ recited all of these verses, and from their effect he was in a particular state of mind. But those references are different from the first one in two ways. First is Aisha. It does not mention about what happened as Aisha Zanha's home, but it mentions other homes. And the other distinction is that instead of staying away the whole night, it mentions the waking up at the Hajj time. And the reference I presented indicates the waking up for the whole night. These verses were very beloved to the Holy Prophet ﷺ, and they have a very deep effect on the mind, and he used to consider this deeply. I shall raise this subject later on, but at the moment I want to say to you that the meaning that I expressed of this verse, it was to show the continuation of the Holy Quran's subjects, the attempts of the disbelievers and their insults, etc., and the Holy Quran saying that they shall tease you till far away. And after that, how could they suddenly have come to this? And the Holy Prophet ﷺ being very grateful to Allah, and from this I understand the Holy Prophet ﷺ received a special glad tidings in these verses, whereas the same verse in other places they are found in the Holy Quran in different places. In some places the words are slightly different, but the word ikhtilaf is mentioned in there, and it with reference to the heavens and the earth. And to offer such gratitude at such verses which affected Aisha Zana so much that after a long time after the demise of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, she remembered it, and she was crying, and she described it, and she said that I saw him and do this the whole night. So this verse must contain within it some incredible meaning, and it should therefore be translated as the translation as the subject demands. And it is that from the night the day shall come out. So there are some signs in the changing of the days and the nights, but what are those signs? And this where it comes the question of the changing of the destiny of people and the rise and the fall of nations. What does this verse have to do with that? Huzur is saying that I think that the verses afterwards I shed light on this, but before I tell you this, I want to put this before you. Huzur is saying that as to what I'll present to you what the grammarians and commentators have said about this. The first discussion is that of qiyam, yaskurunallah qiyaman, as to what qiyam means. Everyone knows qiyam means to stand. Ziddu qada, it is the opposite of sitting, and apart from this there are many usages in Arabic which the grammar keeps. Qamal amru etadala, qamal ma'u jamada. When we say Kamal Amr, it means that the matter has become balanced, and when we say Kamal Mao, then it means that it has frozen, or it means that it's coagulated. istaqama alayhi dabbatu means that four-legged animal has stood there in one place. That means that it has refused to go any forward. It has stopped there and sits down. So apparently he sits down with the word kama is used, that he stopped there. So he did something which was against what was required of him. Qama al-haqqu zahara wa sabata. Those truth has become evident and has made its steps firm. Qama bihi zahruhu. His back has stood up with him. Apparently it seems that the back strengthens the person, but it means that someone's back is hurt or starts aching, and whenever he stands up, his back also stands up. So as soon as he stands up, the feeling of the pain stands up as well. So he's saying that normally when we stand, we don't think of any particular organ of the body, but when it's hurting, we feel it. For example, if the foot is hurting, then we feel it. So here it means that someone has a pain in his back, and when he stands up, then the pain in his back also stands up. And such pains, so they're saying that sometimes I am asked to treat as well. So there are many symptoms like that when people are sitting down, their pain is quiet, and when they stand up, then the pain stands up with them. أوجه قام المتاع بقضاء تعدلت قيمته قام بأمره. So they're saying these are all details which if someone wants to make a relationship with them in the finer details, then let them go. But as far as I'm concerned, it's very clear question here. There's a very clear message here, which is to be kept in view. Yaskun laha qiyaman, that those people, they remember God while they're standing. One is that one remembers Allah in salat, but here salat is not meant, because except that some commentators have taken it to mean some commentators think that because salat, you are permitted to offer salat if you are lying down, if somebody is ill. So here it says that they remember Allah while standing and laying on their sides, etc., and sitting. People have taken up some matters of jurisprudence in here, but doesn't have anything to do with this. And some commentators have rejected this completely, and they think there's no point in taking up any jurisprudence matters. It means that any posture, in whatever situation one is, it should not be a hindrance in your remembrance of Allah. The remembrance of Allah continues. But afterwards, when the commentators reflect on this, you will see how what fine details they have tried to discern the details of this verse about qudan. They say to sit down, or the place to sit, and the Holy Quran says maqad sidkin in the Malik Muqtadir, and then it says rajulun qadatun, a man who is slow or lazy, or he just keeps sitting down. This is called rajul qada, a man who sits. To sit in waiting for prayer. Then just as Satan says in the Holy Quran that, "Oh Allah, I'll be sitting at your right path in order to trap the Muslims." So Akudanna means when somebody is sitting waiting for an enemy, it can take a long time, and then they have to keep themselves concealed as well. So the sitting down is you can only sit down and wait for someone. You can't do that lying down. And all the animals, when they when they are waiting for prey, they sit down, including lions as well. So there does have this subject in it as well. But if you want to apply this to this verse of the Holy Quran, then it's vast meanings. It can be used in vast meanings. Qiyam also means that you become firm in the face of the enemy, and qada also means to wait for the enemy with patience, and you are waiting for and making a trench, entrenching yourself for him. So then this meaning would be correct, that the people who belong to Allah, they remember Allah all the time. Here just sitting and standing doesn't mean actual material, actual standing and sitting. It means that when they are confronting the enemy, they are remembering Allah, and when they are sitting in entrenched, they still remember Allah. So, but these are all far off meanings. The real meaning, which is much closer to the words, is very deep. But as I was saying, before I do that, I will tell you about what the commentators have said about this. Maqaid al-Sam'i, that is the sorry, I was saying that the there is in these words, it means somebody who considers for a long time, someone who considers the construction of the heavens and the earth very they spend time doing that. Huzur is saying that to sit and wait for someone takes a long time. Huzur is saying that, for example, when you want to do fishing, it takes a long time. But these people, for many, many years, they keep looking at the heavens, and they say that maybe an incident should occur. And sometimes, after many years of hard work, they finally find something. And that person who is sitting there and who is sitting there alive, then he finds it, he sees it, and then those stars, etc., that he discovers are named after him. So the Holy Quran has given us those people, those presented because those people's point of view, that they are sitting and looking at the heavens and reflecting on it. So this is also one of the aspects of this word that the commentators have discussed. About fikr, there is a discussion as to what fikr is. Fikratun is to the power of making knowledge follow the facts. That means that what is known, what is a fact, they search for that by walking on that path to join knowledge with that. So if there is knowledge, then there should be facts as well, and so and there should be proof that these two have a relationship with each other. And this struggle, or this attempt, is called fikr according to Mufradat Raghib, which is a commentary of the Holy Quran. And then Tafakkur Quran is when there is a meaning of going round and round in circles. That means that one thinks one considers about things, and as the Prophet ﷺ says that I let my fikr or my thoughts go around in all directions to find the true religion. And this applies to this verse of the Prophet ﷺ, this meaning of fikr. He says that this power is a man has it, but this is not a power that animals have. This is our claim. Perhaps animals do have it, and I feel that sometimes some animals do this. For example, it is proven from the style of elephants that the people who go to hunt them, they consider that where will this hunter go, and they go there, and they can when they go to hunt someone, or something, they go and wait at the top of a tree where they think that prey is about to come, and then they attack the prey. So this fikr is also found in animals to a certain extent. Rajulun fakir. This is not with qaf, with kaf, but we usually every fakir we say we call it fakir anyway. Kasiratul fikr, though someone who considers things a lot, reflects a lot. Batil is the opposite of the truth. Abtala, to destroy, to ruin something. ليحق الحق ويبطل الباطل. Here يبطل الباطل has been translated to mean that it is ruined, something is or annihilated, but for certainty lie falsehood. To reveal the falsehood, to prove someone is false, is also included in this. It may not necessarily be to annihilate. Yubtil al-batila means to remove the falsehoods, to remove every aspect of the falsehood, completely uprooted. Batala butlan wa butulan wa butlanan. Fasada or sakata hukmuhu wa zahaba ziyan wa khusran. That means that it became spoiled, or his batalata fi yadihi batalata hazal. That means that he said something which was untrue and without substance. Batulata wa batalatan swara shujan. He became brave. Batalahu atalahu, to postpone someone or to fire someone, to postpone something. And someone who brought batil, al batilu bidul hakim, this has already been mentioned. The word subhan has been derived from sabaha, that means to praise Allah extensively, and it's from sabahatun. From this, that's the root of the word. I was reading some more Arabic. That is, the word sabaha is used for swimming in the water and on the air as well. The same word sabaha is used, but this includes in it the meaning of being fast. It's not someone who swims slowly or flies slowly. It's someone who does so with great speed. So either Allah says in the Holy Quran, "Kullun fi falakin yasbahun," that everything in the universe is in the state of sabah, was fasabihatu sabhan, and he flew, and with a great speed, and with an incredible speed he flew across the heavens. And the future prophecy of aeroplanes, etc., uses the word sabihat. Now the question is, what does this have to do with the being of Allah's being? I was reading some more Arabic. One commentary or meaning that Mufradat Raghib has given, that to glorify Allah, to say Subhan, is to declare that He is free of all defects, and also means to go through quickly in Allah's worship. Through Allah's worship, he was saying that this doesn't console me, even though Imam Raghib has a great status. To go fast in traditions, in worship, what does this have to do with regarding Allah as being free of all defects? So I was reading some more Arabic from the commentary. Exception from saying inshallah is also regarded as being a meaning of tasbih, and he's given the preference of wala yastasnoon. Huzur is saying that as far as I'm concerned, if there is a relationship of this with the tasbih, which means that when we swim, then he has the capacity that he can stay on the water and can keep away from it, and does not let the water prevail over him, and every being which has to do with, which has a relationship with the good and bad but does not get affected by it or doesn't get vanquished by its effect. And this is what the meaning of tasbih is, which I think is correct, or is the closest to the meaning to that subject, in, by which we know the word tasbih. When a bird flies in the heavens, then there's always a danger that it will fall on the floor, on the ground, but it is beyond, it is above that. So in taking on dangers and then not being vanquished by them and not accepting any evil effects of that, this is what tasbih, and this is the meaning that has to do with the word sabah. Now Huzur is saying that when we come into the detailed discussion, then most commentators speak about qiyam and qu'ud and junud. They spend most of the time discussing this as to what qiyam means and what's qu'ud and what is, that is to sit down, and then qu'ud, they think it means worship, forms of worship, and then the commentaries look at these points with such fine detail that they pick up the subject of why it says junubihim, that why did Allah say junubihim, qiyamum wa qu'udum wa junubihim? Why did Allah not say mustajian, that while they are resting, and then after this they are they have tried to take out jurisprudence matters, and some have said that it proves that if someone is if someone is ill and they want to offer their prayer in their bed, then they shouldn't pray standing, laying on their backs. They should go on their side. Huzur is saying this is wrong, and any situation, any position in which someone can, any position that they can remember God, then they should be able to do that, because if someone's side hurts, then how can they lay on their sides and do it? Huzur is saying that this is such an incredibly great aspect, and then to think that this subject is about these small little jurisprudence matters is wrong. And then the this argument has been taken up, and this is true to a certain extent. Imam Razi says that when one remembers Allah, it is sometimes difficult when you are laying on your back, so we do it when we are on our sides, and when you are on your side, you can't sleep properly. Zul said this is wrong. Most people sleep on their sides, and that's when they go to sleep. Zul said very few people sleep on their backs, and if people are tied up, children are tied up, and they are made to sleep straight, they don't like it. They like to go on their side. The Prophet ﷺ used to sleep on his side and on his right side. So this is just a this particular form. The commentary is not that important to the thing. Now let us see what this has to do with the previous subject, which I've already mentioned before, and why Allah says that these are ayat. That means that they are great signs for whom. This is what I shall now discuss. إن في خلق السماوات والأرض واختلاف الليل والنهار لآيات لأولي الألباب. Remember that if you are intelligent, if you have intelligence, the zikr is not mentioned anymore. So remember that these situations do not change by themselves. The people have a great deal to do with it. It is to do a great deal to do with their character and with their aims. In Allah la yughayyiru ma biqawmin hatta yughayyiru ma bi anfusihim, which means that Allah does not change people's conditions himself until they change their their situations by themselves for themselves. So when you see in the heavens that there are things which keep changing, it appears that they change by themselves, but you should consider and reflect and don't think that these things happen slowly, and you don't think that the destinies of people will also change. With that, you need to consider and reflect and remember, and you should take benefit from other verses. So sort of saying that I'm benefiting from this other verse, and which I've told you, and I think that this, I'm very certain this means that reflect on this fact that the people's countries and nations situations don't change by themselves. It requires hard work and sacrifice, and without reflection you cannot have the power and the strength. And in the future era, the people who become powerful will be a result of reflection on things. So the people who belong to Allah, they have a twice over double responsibility to consider. Other people say that think that the world is an accident, and when they reflect, they think that it's meaningless, and yet they find such solid things that, and as a result of their reflection, their day dawns, they get incredible progress. But the strange thing is that those believers to whom Allah is incredible is revealing this subject, if they should abandon reflection, then they have done it, because if they had reflected according to this verse, then they would have seen the signs of Allah, and their reflection and consideration would not have taken them away from the truth. They would have shown them the truth, and every direction of theirs would take them closer to Allah. This is it was mentioned here. And I was saying that, let me read it again and explain to you clearly. الَّذِينَ يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ قِيَامًا وَقُعُودًا وَعَلَى جُنُوبِهِمْ. In the beginning it says in the في خلق السماوات والأرض واختلاف الليل والنهار لآيات لأولي الألباب. For them there are great signs. For who are being mentioned here? الذين يذكرون الله قياما وقعودا وعلى جنوبهم. Those people are not being mentioned who are the scientists of this world, because for them there are benefits, but they are not signs. They see the greatness, but they do not benefit from them. So the intelligent people are not the ordinary scientists. They also reflect day and night, and they benefit from it. Ulul albab are those, according to the definition of the Quran, that they keep their thoughts under the remembrance of Allah, and the remembrance of Allah eliminates their thoughts, and each of their struggles give them new wisdoms and new secrets, but every secret takes them closer to God and not away from God. And this is the message to the Muslims, that in the future, if you want to change your destinies and you want to prevail over others, then you have been granted this greatness, that their reflection on the universe is devoid of remembrance. And this is why, although they have knowledge, but it's in the darkness, and because they think this universe is batil, is false. So one who does this, then one who thinks like this, they will be a source of damage for mankind, because if you think something is pointless, even if it gets lost or gets wasted, you wouldn't care. If people can destroy another people, and it wouldn't make any difference to them, such people are become a source of benefit for people, but through their hands, from those same hands, the destruction of the world takes place. Those people can be called researchers, but they can't be called the wise people. The wise people, al-ulul albab, are those who remember Allah. Look what a great subject there is, which the today's history, and with every in every little detail that proves its truth. There are great scientists who were born, and many inventions that were made, and people tried to make use of them, but they were all material. And but those inventions were unable to take them closer to God. In fact, every step of their progress took them away from God, and it made the steps towards destruction of mankind. All of these things which were used for the benefit of mankind to an extent, eventually they will result in such a terrible consequences that all the destructions will emanate from the same inventions. And if they had not happened, then those incredible international destructions that man could not have imagined before would never have been born. So the word batil contains a warning within it that if you are not those ulul albab that the Holy Quran is mentioning, that is that if your intelligences have nothing to do with the remembrance of Allah, then you will be destroyed, because then all you will see is falsehood, and as a result of falsehood there will be disorder, because one of the meanings of this is disorder. So such progress will only result in the destruction of mankind, and these are things which are like a cloth which is falling apart. So their progress will make their benefits fall apart, and the internal problems inside it will destroy the world. So this is the negative thing which is found in this verse, which continues, and this could have been sorted out by those people who remember Allah and reflect on the universe. In the beginning, Muslims got this message, and for a long time the Muslim ulama used to follow in this verse, in the instruction in this verse, that not only would they reflect on the Holy Quran, they would also reflect on the universe, and as a result of that, the faith progressed, and worldliness did not prevail over them. Great scientists and thinkers were born, but they remained religious, and their religious observations did not make them worldly. But because of their benefiting from them, the Renaissance happened in Europe. Then they abandoned the remembrance of Allah, and as a result of that, they were damages caused, and the biggest the people who were responsible, mostly responsible for this, was a church, because the church at the time said that the truth that you are presenting as truth, they are contradicting the Bible. So it is as if you are declaring that if the Bible is God's word, then you are declaring that the world is true but the Bible is false, and this we cannot permit you to say. So that book which men had made such defects that people should call that batil or wrong, and should regard the world as being there's a contradiction which could not have remained for a long time. So because of the opposition of the church, they kept getting away from the remembrance of Allah, and until they then became completely secular, and they thought that we do not care about the church anymore, and all we care about is the truth. But they tried to search for the truth, without God. Huzur is saying that their left eye became brighter and brighter. That is the eye of their world, and they even managed to read the secrets under the surface of the earth. But their right eye of the religion became blind. But Allah says that remember that Allah is, according to Allah, the wise are those who reflect. They reflect with the remembrance of Allah, and each one of their steps are towards success, and they can never come to the conclusion that these are accidents. And if you do this, then that transformation will occur, that the night shall turn into a day. And this is true today as well, that even today it is essential that those Ahmadis who have regarded as being ulul albab, the wise ones, the ones who are who are called those who are the followers of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, but in a deep way, and by going into the finer details of the truth. Huzur is saying, as far as I can tell you, that the Prophet Islam's followers are those people. If these verses are forgotten, have been forgotten for a certain era, now is the time that we have to shine the light of the Holy Prophet on the whole world. So we have to work hard, and you should not think that ikhtilaf al-lail al-nahar happens, so it will happen naturally. Allah says, Allah is warning you that, and the Holy Prophet ﷺ, who Huzur is saying, what's that reference of fikr? Huzur is asking. In the tradition, it says that this verse, upon this, it is essential to reflect on this, and you must reflect on this verse. So what does yufakkirun mean? Huzur is saying that, find me that verse. Huzur is saying that it has a deep relationship with this subject that I am explaining. The Holy Prophet ﷺ did not regard this to be an superficial enjoyment, that you should get up at night and look look at the heavens and be happy. Anyone can do that, but they are not ulul albab, and they are not those people who remember Allah, and they are not an embodiment of the remembrance of Allah. When the Holy Prophet ﷺ sees it, then he gives the message to his people that there are many things and many aspects in this. If you don't reflect, then you will not be able to understand this verse properly, and you should not be able to benefit from this. I was asking if the verse has been found. Huzur is saying, I'm not talking about this particular tradition. I'm talking about this other tradition which says directly about this verse, that you must reflect on this. It's a very interesting tradition, and there are many different meanings of it. Hazrat Aisha Zanha has reports that it is a report from Hazrat Aisha Zanha which is marfu, that means that it reaches her and then it reaches the Holy Prophet ﷺ. She said, although she didn't say qala, but she says that the Holy Prophet ﷺ said this. Who was reading the Arabic, said that destruction upon that person who recites this verse and who does not reflect on it. It's a beautiful word. It means beautiful words. It means that they say that people who reflect, to say that, it means that you must reflect from this verse, starting from this verse, and destroyed is that person who reads this verse and does not reflect on it, and then obviously to reflect on other things. this has a great glad tidings, and in the beginning, in the first verse, it was given very clearly. But all those verses which are an explanation of the same, they're found in those as well. And in another subject of gratitude, the Holy Prophet ﷺ did not just mention one of these verses, he mentioned all of these verses, and he said that as a result of all of these verses, I have extreme gratitude to Allah, and I am burdened by the great favors of Allah. So the gratitude is the gratitude means that we should reflect. Huzur is saying that I'm inviting the Ahmadi scientists that just as these people have taken their own research and used it to go away from Allah, and in contradiction to that, Allah those people, Allah expects of the people who remember Allah that they should prove the opposite subject, and every struggle and everything that they do, the final result should be Rabbana ma khalaqta hadha batila. Oh Allah, you did not create this universe for nothing or something false. So after reflection and after thinking, this is a declaration which is continuous. So when some commentators saw this problem, then they said that it says that they say yaqulun is yaqulun is a word which is hidden in here. Some people say that no, this is not the case. It is something that those people, whenever those people go and reflect, then everywhere the call emanating from their heart will be Rabbana ma khalaqta hadha batila. Huzur is saying that this matter is scientists can present it before the world in a more firm manner, in a more sturdy manner, but only if they remember Allah while they're sitting, standing, and laying on their sides. So those scientists, among those, some of them are born among the outsiders, the non-Muslims, and I'm very panicked because of this. It's a great transgression that the person who is taught the Holy Quran, because they haven't understood, they should lose the worldly greatnesses as well as religious greatnesses. And when the new era comes, that time is made when this is taken away from them, and it goes to Islam. At that time also other people should prevail. So the different things about science that I say, it is correct that because I'm not a scientist, so there could be defects in that, but I want to show you examples that this is the time when those who wish to serve the Holy Quran, it's essential for them to study science, but only in relationship to the Holy Quran. And Huzur saying that I am reminding them of co-relationship. When Khalifa Masih Salih Rahmatullah for a long time, almost for his entire life, he made me in charge of student affairs, although I was the patron of the student affairs. And from the first day I was telling my students and my fellow students the same thing, that for the sake of God you should create this revolution in your thoughts, and whatever subject you are reading, every subject is a slave to this. And Allah has made it, has assured them that those people who when people reflected, they did not find the universe to be false, but they remained to the worldly level. The Holy Quran says that this will be evident to you in a greater spiritual manner as well. So you must interrelate. So today again I'm repeating this message, that in this if you don't reflect on this verse and you don't arrive at a conclusion which I'm presenting before you clearly, then the Holy Prophet, according to the words of the Holy Prophet, such a person will be destroyed because he did not glean any benefit. So we are going to change the destiny of the world, not just from a religious manner, also from this aspect, but also from a worldly aspect. We have to turn the science towards Allah, and we have to prove that every finger raises its direction in towards Allah. And if you study this verse of the Prophet ﷺ, in which says that every intoxicated eye is pointing is speaks about you. The the point, every curly lock points is direction in your direction. It's, and then other, he mentions other creations of Allah which all point toward Allah. And as I was saying, that's a lot of MD scientists are asleep except a few, but when they wake up, they will find out that their remembrance, the aspect of remembrance, is empty. The Holy Quran is an embodiment of remembrance of Allah, and without the knowledge of the Holy Quran, how could they become those who remember Allah? And if they don't remember Allah, then they'll keep making mistakes. So it is essential for them to understand the Holy Quran, and they should create the love of Allah in their hearts and remember Allah, and then their results will be correct. Those scientists who try without this, and they send me what they discovered, and whenever I see, and the only defect that I find in that is that they do not know about the teachings of the Holy Quran, and they wish to serve, but and they do not find the correlationship. So it is essential for Ahmadi scientists that they must attain the knowledge of the Holy Quran, and through their personal knowledge they should wait and think, reflect on those verses about which they know that they have to do with their nature, and then inshallah, by the grace of God, they will have many blessings. When in the beginning, when I was a young man, I used to mark such verses of the Holy Quran, or I used to turn the pages, because while studying, it was wrong to stop, and to stop my enjoyment. So I used to just mark it for consideration later. And as I was saying, that because it's when you're drinking water, you don't want to stop in the middle, you just want to keep drinking. And then afterwards I found these sorts of marks in the Holy Quran, but they became indications for me for the future. So in the afterwards, whenever I wanted to reflect, when I decided to reflect on the Holy Quran, I found that those marks always pointed me to the right direction. So study the Holy Quran, and then that is where you should get your guidance from. And then you should look at your own research, and that research that the world has done and you have done, then you should combine them together, and you say that this is the light that is shed on this. Huzur is saying that I have got the messages of the Waqifin, the devotees, when I said that I wanted the Waqfino to be made specialists for research, etc., so that before we arrive to the middle of the century, we prevail over all the knowledge. And this is something which we are able to do. The Muslims before this have never tried this, neither have they had such people among them who would devote their lives towards the whole of Islam, and to remove themselves from the world. So I repeat this again, that those people whom you wish to teach these, Huzur is saying of Taf Khan Sam, you come to the front. For them, the Quranic teachings, it is essential to show them, to teach them the Quranic teachings. All such researchers who you teach their languages to, and you teach them the knowledge, and you combine them, attach them to experts, then with the Jamaat, the Jamaat must teach them the Holy Quran. There should be a system, and it should be very strong teaching of the Holy Quran, and they will have to be taught the Arabic grammar. Who's saying that I have noticed that the grammar, even if the slightest things are ignored in the grammar, it spoils the translation. So they should be taught that the commentaries of Ahmadis, and they should always follow the Holy Quran, and they do not need to follow the commentaries. No matter how great the commentator, they can make a mistake. So to think that what have I said, or the Muslim has said, or what Aale-Imraan has said, these things, they are good, but they shouldn't. When you research, then it is not possible to always follow. In some places, some steps are made in different places, and fear of Allah dictates that wherever the truth points you, that is where you should go, and you should leave other people to God. They are also pious people, and if they make a mistake while they are in the righteous, then you are not responsible. You are not going to abandon the truth. You have to go where the truth takes you, and then the Holy Quran promises you ذَلِكَ كِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. And this about, if you study this book with the righteousness, then we declare that this book will definitely take you towards guidance. But with righteousness, you must understand, this applies to all the commentators in detail. But the other subject, if it's not understood properly, then there is a possibility of mistakes, and that subject does not point towards their righteousness, problem in their righteousness. It says that the righteousness has enabled them to take benefit, but the other subjects of the world, because of their lack of knowledge, or because of their less knowledge, when the correlationship was done, then the result was not correct. This is possible, and it is possible even while there is righteousness, because righteousness demands that whatever is found from available facts should be done. If the facts are changed, then the same righteousness will take them towards other paths. So it is the righteousness, the taqwa, which you must always stay, almost always remain stuck to. So if there is a temporary contradiction between you and the truth, then but you must still stay on the righteousness. And then even if other people, even if you can't find the truth, then